Now, Rock Talk with Mitch Lafon.
Bonjour et bienvenue to Rock Talk with Mitch Lafon, or as I like to say, welcome to Rock Talk. And of course, I am the music site that delivers music news, content, factoids, listicles, and all that wonderful stuff with a positive outlook. So if you want something positive, please do follow me. I think we all have choices to make. Do you want to follow something that's negative or positive? I prefer to go with the positive. And speaking of positive, Jeremy and Ajay Popoff of the band Lit, known collectively now as the Popov Brothers, have this new project that is going to differentiate what they are doing musically from the band Lit. In 2017, 2018, Lit released an album called These Are the Days that very much had a country flavor to it, and some of the old school hardcore Lit fans went, hey, what is this? And so Jeremy and Ajay said, hey, you know what? We want to keep making country music. We want to keep making this music that's different than what Lit is doing. So they've started the Popov Brothers, and May 8th, 2020, the first single called Sons and Daughters of Summer was released. And it's a good song. It's a great song. You know, it's not Lit, but it's a great, it's well written, it's well performed, you'll enjoy it anyway. So staying on the positiveness of it all, the last time I got to actually see the Popov Brothers with Lit was on the Generation X tour from a couple of years ago with Buck Cherry, Lit, of course, POD, and Alien Ant Farm. That whole tour, or that whole show, was spectacular, and the guys could not have been nicer. I brought my daughter down with a friend of hers, and they set them up with T-shirts, and they did all kinds of stuff, and they brought them onto the bus, and do you want a Gatorade or a Coca-Cola or whatever? Could not have been nicer. So when you have guys like Jeremy and Ajay that are just so nice, so positive, it is nice to support them. So please go out today, tomorrow, stream the new single, Sons and Daughters of Summer, and support the band, which is called the Popov Brothers. And I guess this is the Popov month for me, because last week I had Martin Popov talking about his Rush book, and today I've got Jeremy Popov talking about the new band, the new project, the new sort of where are we going with the music. And fear not, Lit fans, the band is not broken up. This is in no way, shape, or form a dismissal of what Lit is. In fact, Jeremy, during the interview, clearly says that now they can focus on writing a classic Lit album with what fans expect, and they can continue creatively doing the country thing like they did on These Are the Days, and so everybody wins. You get two projects putting out two different products, or two different sets of music if you want. I know people hate when you call music a product, but ultimately, bands are brands, music is product. I know, it's not very romantic, but c'est la vie. Anyway, let's get over to Jeremy. Do enjoy that. Support the band, support the music, and support folks that are positive online, whether it's on Twitter or Facebook. If you find a person or a site that just spews negativity nonstop, just unfollow them. Who needs that in their life? Just get rid of those people. Go to those Twitters and those sites and just go, click out. I'm out of here. Follow the people that are promoting a positive message. Music is supposed to make us feel good, and it doesn't feel good if the message that keeps being thrown at you is negative, negative, negative. So go follow the positive, and go follow Lit on Twitter, Jeremy and Ajay. And go follow, by the way, the Popov Brothers on Facebook. There's a separate non-Lit Facebook for this project, so go follow that. Anyway, here is the one, the only, the exceptionally nice, the exceptionally positive, Mr. Jeremy Popoff. We are speaking with Jeremy Popoff of the band Lit. They have a new single coming out under the name Popov Brothers, Sons and Daughters of Summer. And as always, Jeremy, a pleasure, un plaisir, as we say in Montreal. How are you?
Good, man.
Good.
Good to talk to you. It's been a little bit.
Yeah, it's actually been a couple of years. Well, I mean, we certainly talk on Facebook and stuff, but the last time face to face was at this Gen X show in Watertown, New York. And I know I've told you this before, but that bill, those four bands, You, Buck Cherry, Alien Ant Farm, and POD, that was an incredible, incredible night of rock and roll. And I've told you this before too. I did not expect to like POD because I just don't know them that much. They were phenomenal. All four bands phenomenal. So anyway, just a great night and a great pleasure to talk to you today.
Thanks, man.
Let us.
That was a fun tour. I love all those bands. We all kind of grew up together, so it was it was fun to be out with all those guys.
It really was. So, but here we're not here really to talk about Lit or the tour or that. We're going to talk about the Popov Brothers, you and Ajay. Is this just a separate project, or is this moving on from Lit into something else? Just for the fans, what is this brotherhood of a band?
Well, as you know, we put a record out a couple years ago called These Are the Days, and which I love the record. I think it's some of our best work songwriting-wise, and it just really is where we were at the time, and I'm really proud of that record. But I think it was confusing to the 20-year-old or the 20-year Lit fan. There's a lot of those fans that have been along the journey with us and know that, we've branched out to a lot of different genres, and that we've been, writing music in Nashville for well over a decade. And so there were a lot of Lit fans that were country music fans now, and that loved the record. Then there were the ones that wanted to put Baby back in the box or back in the corner. And then also the country music world, although, you could say that My Worst Enemy is probably one of the biggest country songs of all time, because every country band covers it, and everybody on Broadway covers it, and the honky tonks and all that kind of stuff. So, it's weird when you're in the world and you're kind of just doing it. You don't realize that there's still boxes that they want to keep you in, and there's still gatekeepers holding the keys, and you can't get past certain ones because they are still old school in their ways or in their So instead of fighting that, AJ and I just decided, let's figure out a way to release music that's not really what Lit fans would expect, and that's not really, because we're not going to stop writing country music. We're not going to stop writing whatever we feel like at the moment. But in doing that, it's been a little bit of a kind of a freedom and a release, almost like we've been kind of leashed a little bit. And now we're fired up to write old school sounding Lit songs again. We've been working on some Lit stuff. We've got old stuff coming out that's never been released. We've got, this year we've got the 21st anniversary vinyl, The Place in the Sun, that RCA just put out on white vinyl. And just, we're inspired again to go back to our Lit roots and crank out some of that stuff. So I think within the last few years, when, if you put a gun to our head, we would say, okay, well, this is what we write now, because we didn't want to get stuck in sort of being forced to just be this one-dimensional. And I don't mean that from art. I think we've always, veered off into other directions, but we just never really wanted to be stuck in one lane when it came to being creative. So that's why we did, we're doing Popoff Brothers, and it's, and we're excited. We've got a few done and ready to come out after this. And we're just going to kind of do it simultaneously with the Lit stuff. And it'll be interesting to see how people react.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, and it's probably a good idea because, bands seem to have a sound. If you have AC/DC or if you have, whatever, Kiss or whatever, fans expect a certain sound. And as soon as you move away from that, they go, oh my God, what are you doing? It's only a very few, like the Madonnas and the U2s, that fans seem to say, hey, they're experimenting. Just real quick, these are the days. That was a really underappreciated album, and I've got to say, good problems to have, fast, and some of the other songs. I really love that stuff. So with the Popov Brothers, is
Thank
this? Yeah, you're welcome. With the Popov Brothers, is it the band, the guys that are currently in Lit that play on this, and you're just calling it something different? Or is it just really you and AJ doing something different with a different drummer and a different bass player is it Lit under a different name, or is it really a separate entity?
It's a separate entity. It's AJ and I, and some really amazing Nashville studio musicians that play on a lot of just great records, and then Ryan Gilmore, who is in Lit, is involved as well. He's kind of our secret weapon when it comes to the studio, and so he co-produces it with us, and participates in the recording process with us and all that. What it looks like live, it remains to be seen, because AJ and I have been talking about how we want to introduce it to that world, to the live music realm. And one of the things that we're excited about, here in Nashville, it's very common right now it's not, but when things get back into gear, it's a lot of times bands, they leave on a Thursday or Wednesday night or Thursday morning, and then they're back on a Sunday. They go out and play 3 shows, and they'll take out songwriters on the bus with them, and use the downtime to write songs and stuff. But a lot of times it's really awesome if that same person that you're taking out to collaborate with can kind of open the show, because you can kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And we've never been able to do that kind of stuff with Lit, because Lit is a machine. It's a bunch of gear, it's a bunch of guys, and it's a production. Even if it's a fly date and it's not a lot of it's a lot of moving parts. And so this is going to give AJ and I the freedom to just literally go out and open up for somebody for 20-30 minutes, and for little or no money, and kind of go back to those days of not having to fire up the machine, to just be able to go out and have fun and be creative and do stuff. So that's going to be a nice I don't know, I don't want to say diversion, but
Well, a nice departure.
but doing this, yeah, and like I said, it's making us feel more creative for the Lit stuff. It's making us, I feel like once you're inspired in one aspect of your life, it inspires you in other areas of your life too. And so I think musically it's a good thing for us.
Let me just take up on that, because you had mentioned that by the time you got to These Are the Days and you did this country album, that you really weren't in a Lit writing mood. Had you just been sort of spent creatively, and you just couldn't see yourself putting together A Place in the Sun? Or was it you just said, there's no market for that sound right now? So talk to me about that. Why did you sort of go and take that left turn on These Are the Days? And now that you have the Popov Brothers, now the juices to do Lit is back. Explain that to me.
Well, we really didn't make a left turn at all when we did These Are the Days. We had already been going down that road for many years, and what we actually did was we just decided, creatively we were jamming. We were writing songs like crazy, and we were feeling inspired, and we were writing songs that we loved, and we decided, hey, this is what we're writing, this is what we're living, this is what we should record and release. And if we locked ourselves in a room and tried to recreate something we were doing 15 years ago, that's not why we started doing this. It's not why we wanted to be in a band and do the stuff that we're fortunate enough to get to do. And so, really, and coincidentally, rock and roll was pretty lame at the same time. Like, there hasn't been anything that's come out in so long that's made me want to pick up a guitar and plug it in, And so what makes me want to do that is old, classic rock and stuff, from the 90s. And then, in moving and going through all these archives, trying to find bonus tracks for re-releases and all those things, we started discovering like all these little riffs and just little nuggets and little things. And we started to kind of like get a little glimpse through the window of where we were in 99, 2000, 2003, 2006 or whatever. And it really like kind of lit a fire under us. So yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but it's like, we weren't inspired to write rock music really at all 5 years ago, and even 3 years ago. It just wasn't. We just weren't there.
Right. And I can get that. So okay, let me just go back real quick, because you did mention the white vinyl, A Place in the Sun. The deluxe edition has come out. It's out on Spotify and different places. Songs from Woodstock '99 are included, acoustic versions of Down and other stuff. And I love the fact, by the way, that it was released as a 21st anniversary. I like that little twist. How important was that album for you? It's a great twist, but let's since it's current. I mean, it came out in, I guess, April. Yeah, April of this year, so like a month ago.
Yeah.
How important was that album, and is it sort of the one that you're always going to try to top? Is it your sort of Kiss Destroyer or Aerosmith Rocks?
Well, it certainly is that, right? I mean, it's our biggest record, obviously, commercially, and it's, around the world, it was such a successful record that really meant a lot to a whole bunch of people. And I mean, it changed our lives forever. So it will always be, the record that blew up for us and that gave us our careers, and our livelihoods. So yeah, I mean, it's and we've been doing a lot of and just to go back for a second, the reason in retrospect, we should have did the 20th anniversary like everybody else does, and we could have toured last year, but we wanted to do 21 because of the whole, now you're old enough to drink and gamble and do all the things that people associate with it. And we thought Place in the Sun turns 21 just sounded cooler. So this was the year that we were going to do all that. And then with, all the COVID stuff, that all obviously got, so we'll have to figure out how to redo that. But
you see, they always say no time like the present. See, you should have.
I figured that out.
Yeah, the hard way. So let's, since most interviews these days have a COVID section in them, what do you see moving forward for you? Do you see Popoff Brothers doing some YouTube streaming thing, Facebook streaming thing, or do you just say F it? We're gonna wait, and when the countries reopen, then we'll talk about touring. Then we'll talk about releasing a full. Like, how do you sort of see it moving forward? Because it's sort of hard to see right now. It's kind of murky.
Yeah, it's very depressing. It's very it doesn't feel right, and it doesn't feel it feels like we just sacrificed like a whole bunch of I don't want to say industries, but what we do is an industry, and it is our livelihood, and not only us, but our road crew and the venues and the promoters and the bus drivers and just everybody involved. It's a pretty massive industry of people that are completely screwed right now, and with not a lot to really back it up. It seems like, I mean, today is 51 days since we've been locked down. It was supposed to be 14 days, and they just keep going. Yep, another week, another 2 weeks, another week, another 2 weeks. And the models are wrong, and this is wrong, and that's wrong. And it just, we're literally just being, it's a whim. It's just a whim that is being just kind of lobbed at everybody willy-nilly. No one knows what the hell they're doing. I mean, and I don't blame them. If you don't know, you don't know. But I think we're going to look back on this one day and go, wow, did we really do that? Did we really just shut it down and in a lot of cases kill it, over some real vague info? I mean, that part drives me crazy. I'm just trying to stay positive in the sense that, we've gotten to spend some good quality time with the family and got to really dive into some music and learning how to write over Zoom, which is fucking weird. It's like, but it's a changing thing. It's like, what do? It is what it is. And we've got to roll with the punches and try to grow and figure out what it looks like moving forward. But I have a hunch that it'll get back to normal quicker than we think. And I don't think anybody should accept that it's not going to be until next summer of 2021 until we can go to a concert again. Like, fuck that. That doesn't make any sense scientifically, financially. It just is a silly prospect to even throw out into the universe right now. I think we should be in pretty decent shape here in a couple months, I would think. And
I would hope.
Get back to, put it this way, and not to get, everyone's an expert on the coronavirus, but no one knows what the hell they're talking about. And, I just feel like, look, after 50 days, if it's not working, then maybe we're doing it wrong, So I don't know. I personally, I've always been a guy who, I don't freak out. You'll see me at a meet and greet at a show. I don't use hand sanitizer after a meet and greet. I'm not weird about germs. I wasn't weird when my kid would pick up something off the ground and, stick it in his mouth. I've just always felt like, we're human beings, man. We're pretty fucking resilient. We've overcome a lot of plagues and viruses and stuff since the beginning of time. So, I don't agree with this, wash your hands 100 times a day, cover your face, stay in your house. I think that's terrible for you. In my opinion, I think it's a terrible plan. If ultimately this is about your immune system and everything else, I want to get out into a crowd of people. I want to hug people. I want to get sweaty with people. I want to shake hands and get back to that. That's fucking, to me, that's what we were kind of designed to be.
Well, they call that sort of herd immunity thing, right? And by the way, in terms of playing shows, see, I'm not worried about the bigger bands, your Elton Johns and your Paul McCartneys, and they are going to show up and they're going to say, hey, we're playing the Staples Center, and the Staples Center will be there. For me, it's the B tier and the C tier bands, or the second tier, because a lot of the clubs around Montreal and Toronto are closing. And so there's going to be this gap of either you're playing your living room or you're playing the Staples Center, and there's going to be a lot of in between that's gone. And that's where I'm scared for bands, that there's going to be bands that want to play, but there's not going to be those clubs, those 500 seaters, and it's just going to be like, uh-oh. So yeah, it's getting to the point where we need to get people working and get money, but we got to do it safely. So what a disaster, right? I mean, it's
yeah. Well, and the thing is, I agree with you. I don't think anybody has some desire to go out and somehow put people at risk, or themselves or their families. I don't think that's anybody's intent. But I do think that people are constantly being told, we have to do it safely, and but they're losing everything that they've ever worked for, and they're literally going bankrupt, and they're, waiting for the next handout. And it's like, that's not that's not doing it safely, in my opinion. That's a very dangerous way to do it. And, and I also, and this is going to sound terrible, probably piss off a whole bunch of people, but, I'm pretty healthy, on the younger side of being old, and I'm not really at risk. And neither are a lot of people. And if my mom, who is, in her 70s and is at risk and has a lot of health issues, I'll keep her ass home. I'll keep her home, locked up, cared for, not locked up, but you know what I mean? Like, I'll keep her.
That's right. I'm going to keep my mom locked up too. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, but no, I know what you mean. Listen, my mom.
Let me handle that. Let me protect my mom. I'm not going to blame you, Mitch, if you go out and you take your kids to the park and, God forbid, you get sick or whatever. I'm not going to blame you if something happens to my mom. That's ridiculous and insane. And I just think we've gotten off the path of being just reasonably
cautious,
just common sense. I don't know. At some point, man. And listen, obviously the numbers are going to go up. The numbers are going to go up. Also, traffic, car accidents, everything that involves more people out and about doing shit, all the numbers are going to go up. Does that mean that, I don't know. It's just
it's a bit strange, and I know from the Quebec perspective, they will literally tell us to do this on Monday, and then on Tuesday they go, oh yeah, never mind that, we're gonna try, and it's just like, well, could we have some direction? But anyway, let me wrap this up real quick with "Sons and Daughters of Summer." Popov Brothers is the new single. I've had a chance to hear it. I think it's great. I know people love to bash bands when they try something different. I support the fact that you're trying something different. And you know what? You're also making high quality country music. It's not some slapstick nonsense. It is actually well sung, well written, well produced, and well performed. And that ultimately is all that matters.
Well, thanks, man. For the fan, and maybe even not so much just the lit fan, but even just the rock fan that loves My Worst Enemy and Miserable and whatever, and maybe they haven't followed us for 20 years, or maybe they don't know what we're up to. It may be a shock to go like, wait, what? They're doing this? But we've been writing country music longer than we had been writing rock music when My Worst Enemy came out. So to put that into perspective, I mean, this isn't just like something we decided one day, like, hey, I heard country's popular, we should try that.
No, and I recommend that fans that haven't given These Are the Days, the 2017 album, a try, just go listen to it. It's a well done record. It really is. And Good Problems to Have, or Good Problem, I should say, not plural, to have, is a kick-ass song. So anyway, Jeremy, always a pleasure.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, likewise, man. Thanks for giving the Popoff Brothers a spin and for turning on your audience to it. We appreciate it, and we're excited, and we're releasing it this week, and Ajay and I are going to be doing some Instagram live stuff, and there's a cool lyric video coming out for it, and then also there's a great new lit video coming out probably in the next couple weeks, and it's a new video, but it's an unreleased song and it's unseen footage, so it's going to be a neat little nugget, I guess, for the fans,
for the diehards. Well, good. Make sure that you package all of that up and send it to me. Text it over, email it over, whatever, Facebook it over, and I will make sure I get it on my socials and use my megaphone to let my fans know that it's out there. And listen, I think they're gonna love it. And there you go. Hold on, the Facebook here. Let's just quickly that. Head over to facebook.com/Popov Brothers Official. That is Popov Brothers Official. And follow along. Check out Sons and Daughters of Summer, the new single. And there you go. As we say in Montreal, merci beaucoup. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my brother. Good to talk to you, man.
Cheers.
This has been Rock Talk with Mitch Lafon. For more exclusive content and interviews, subscribe on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, on YouTube, and many more. Follow Mitch on all the socials, especially Twitter, @Mitch Lafon, and on Instagram, @Mitch_Lafon. Get your Mitch merch now at loudtracks.com/Mitch.